All right, cool. So Mile High Metal Hour episode 4. Um, I'm Steve, of course, Kevin, like as always.
Yep.
Our topic today, we're going to kind of talk about some of the early stuff that led us into the life of metal and got us started down that road, and some nostalgic albums. I'm sure that neither of us really want to fess up to, but
I'm not ashamed. Well,
yeah, right.
maybe a little bit.
Yeah, you were a punker, so you probably carry more shame than I do.
Yeah.
I lived through new metal.
Well, so did I.
But yeah, I guess first we'll talk about. Here's a good segue. We're going to talk about recent shit that's been going on. I went to the Cyclonus. This is segueing from new metal. There's a arc here. We went to see Cyclonus's release show at the Black Sheep in the Springs, and Turbid North actually opened, and they were fucking crazy good. So was Cyclonus. But one of the bands that made my year end last year, the local band Bone Rot, they did a Limp Bizkit cover. They did Break Stuff. And
Seriously?
Yeah, and it was fucking phenomenal.
Like a grind cover?
Like a grind, slammy, power violence, fucking masterpiece. It was awesome.
Like, were they doing it to be funny, or did they legitimately like?
No, they legit. He's like, I'm not even ashamed. We're gonna do a fucking Limp Bizkit cover for you right now. This is Break Stuff, and then it just like came in with a crunchy Godflesh, just kind of slow breakdown, and then fucking all hell.
I'm gonna have to look and see if there's any live footage of that.
Right, that's fucking ballsy. Like, let's find the fastest way to alienate a modern metal audience is fucking Limp Bizkit covers.
No joke.
So that was the show I went to. Turbid North is fucking. I just like once I watched them play, I haven't been able to get off that for like 3 weeks now. Shit is so good.
You've been to a bunch of shows recently, though.
Yeah.
Haven't you? You've been to a bunch recently. You saw. Did you go see Chemist recently? No.
Yeah. So yeah, I took the wife and I went to Albuquerque and saw Chemist on a Saturday night and Horse the band
Right.
on a Sunday night.
And Royal Thunder twice recently too.
Fuck yes, and they were great both times. And that, speaking of new albums that are really good, that one is quite good. Not quite metal, but is still just awesome. I think a big step up. They were definitely one of those sophomore slump bands for me. The second record is just kind of okay, I think, but this new one picks it back up, and they're great live band and nice people. That was fun, but I still think fucking Chemist, man. Like, I think they brought it harder than anyone else I've seen this year. It was just, I was looking forward to Horse because I've never seen them, and ended up just, it's like every time I see that band, I just like fall in love all over. Like, holy shit.
Saw that they're opening for Ghost on their Denver show. When the Ghost is touring with Iron Maiden, the nights that Iron Maiden's not playing, they're playing shows.
Yeah.
One of those is Colorado. Iron Maiden's not playing Colorado. So Ghost is right here. Chemist is going to open. I don't give a shit about Ghost, but
not even a little bit.
Probably good news for Chemist. So that's at the Fillmore. I mean, that's huge. That's way bigger than fucking High Dive.
Right, and that's fucking well deserved. Fucking like that. I think that was the weirdest thing. Maybe that's why I enjoyed Albuquerque so much. Was when every time I've seen them here, there's like that built-in Denver crowd.
Yeah, it's like the same people.
Yeah, well, and it's just it's all packed out every time.
Yeah,
like they're just doing the Chemist thing, but like in Albuquerque, there was a room of 35, 40 people, and they had to fucking sell their wares, and like they fucking killed it.
They've got that split coming out with Spirit Adrift soon.
Yeah. Did you listen to the track?
No, I'm gonna wait until it comes out. Don't get on Bandcamp.
You're all pure.
Yeah. It's only 2 songs.
Right.
I feel like I get my money's worth when it comes out.
Right. And
so, yeah, I haven't been to as many shows as you have recently. The last one I went to was Catatonia.
Right.
At the summit with our friend Adam and my friend Robert. And that was awesome.
Fucking slow.
European bastards. Yeah.
Right.
They kind of did their Catatonia thing, and they're fucking, amazing live.
I take it no one moshes, right?
No.
Yeah.
No one even moves. It's like,
Right, just cries.
they're just like dejected people.
Right. Although whoever it was in Denver that's organizing shows fucked up big time by having them and Amorphous on the same night.
Yeah, I don't know why that wasn't a joined effort there. Like,
That if you're gonna put any two bands together to play with each other, that seems like as good of a pair as you're ever gonna fucking find.
yeah, they brought it up on stage. I wonder if like one show cannibalized the other, or it's kind of evened out.
Right. I don't know. I don't. Swallow the Sun has a lot of pull too. So
Yeah, they were. Amorphous was touring with some more known bands. The band's opening for Catatonia.
right. Take notes, Catatonia.
Yeah. I think the only show before that I went to was that Decibel tour. I don't remember if we talked about that last time or not.
I don't know either, but I'm fucking creator.
That was, yeah. Crater was headlining, and I'm a big Crater fan, so that was fucking awesome. Right. Obituary, which I'd never seen before, and they were pretty good. They were good live. They just did the Obituary thing. They've been doing the Obituary thing for fucking 30 years, and they do it well. So,
right.
And who else was there? Oh yeah, Midnight was there. Midnight was good live. I hadn't seen them before. Horrendous. I saw them before a couple years ago. They were still good.
Yeah, dude. I haven't yet to see them, but I love those records.
And Blood Incantation.
Obviously,
I saw because they opened. They were the local opener, and they literally opened up like 15 minutes after the doors opened. And stupid me was like, I won't get there when the doors open because the bands won't go on to fucking 7.
Right.
Sure enough, I walk in and they're already playing. I'm like, oh man.
You caught them like the end of last year too, right? Like,
yeah, I saw them in December at Rhinoceropolis before it got shut down.
Right.
Like a week before it got shut down. Right?
Which was that all really in relation to the one that burnt down in, was it California? I think some local DIY punk spot fucking burnt to the ground, and then everyone started freaking out, and like that flux capacitor in the Springs got shut down, and
yeah, but Seventh Circle's still open, which makes me think that they were just looking for a reason to go in there and shut down Rhinoceropolis.
Right.
Because that part of town is becoming yuppified.
Sure is. But fucking, let's see. I think that about covers it for me for shows. I just gotta go get the Cyclonus record. Anyone who's listening to this, fucking, it's my favorite local release of the year so far. Oh, Necro Panther. That was they opened the Royal Thunder show in the Springs.
Right, Necro Panther. Necro Panther was good.
I'd never heard a lick of it or seen them, but they were fucking great.
I thought we saw them. Were they open for Chemist on their release party? I don't know. I saw them at the Hideout or something.
That was the other half of Blood Incantation. Was that I can't think of it.
Voice or
Spectral Voice.
Yeah.
But at any rate, so fucking, I guess, new records then. There's been so much.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've done this, so there's going to be, and I'm sure we're both on the same page here. So,
right.
Has it been so long that we haven't talked about Falls of Rose? I think it has.
It sure has. That's well, that one was like right up there for contender for year-end lists, and then fucking Ruins of Everest came out.
Yeah, I was just going to say that was number 1, and now it's duking it out with that Ruins of Everest.
Both of them are just fucking fantastic.
The good thing about both of them is that I was expecting them both to be so good too.
Right.
They didn't disappoint. It's nice to know that some bands will always deliver.
Right. And fucking
totally different kinds of bands too, but still.
Right. Yeah, I guess they have very unique sounds on each of them, but they are under that, I guess, canopy of that genre.
But, right.
Which I guess has still been super busy this year so far, it seems. I think in the first episode we commented that was like, felt like the majority of everything that year was just atmospheric black metal.
There's been a good ton of it this year too, but
right.
Standout has been Falls of Rose for sure. unless you count Nightbringer. Are they atmospheric black metal? I don't know. But that
Yeah.
new Nightbringer is fucking killer too.
Sure is. And they were on what else did those guys do? We were just talking about this morning.
Well, they have that, I can't pronounce it. Oh, it's the Bestia Arcana, which came out the same fucking day as that Nightbringer album, which is Nightbringer as well. Bestia
Right.
Arcana. And then this week is the new Excommunion, which is their first album in 15 years, which is also the guys from Nightbringer.
Which I grabbed, but I did not get a chance to get to today.
It's like I call it the death metal version of Nightbringer.
Nice. Yeah, it's sitting in my library.
Super Morbid Angel influence, but that crazy, dark, weird,
right,
evil sound, but just applied to death metal.
What else? I've been on that Suffocation like a lot.
I know you. I know you've been real into that one.
I don't know what it is, and it's not even like you said, it's not even revelatory by Suffocation standards. But maybe it's the production, maybe it's the last couple weeks I've been having, and just it's fit the atmosphere at work, and I don't know what it is, but I've gotten to that one quite a bit.
I'll give you that it's more enjoyable than. It's more memorable than the last one was, because I totally even fucking forgot that I had the last one. I was like, I don't think I got one since 2 albums. And I was like, oh shit, no, I still have it. So
yeah,
like we were talking about, right? Suffocation. I mean,
right,
Suffocation, right?
Right. Yeah, that's very much the same, and fucking. I think there's just I don't know. There's probably more hooks on this one than the last few, more memorable riffs.
Yeah, it could be.
But either way, that's just I don't know why it's been in the wheelhouse as much as it has, but it's right there. So
here on my iTunes, I have right next to each other Suffocation and that new Night Demon for some reason.
Huh. I don't know, that one's fucking killer.
Yeah, that Night Demon was fucking stupid fun, like stupid awesome fun.
Right.
And I thought that last one, the first one, I forget the name of it now, was so good. But this one just blew it out of the fucking water.
Yeah, I was kind of lukewarm on that first record, and then seeing them live helped. I enjoyed their live show a lot.
Yeah, those songs are better live. They're definitely a live band we're seeing.
And then I think they captured more of that energy on this one, like more of what it's like to see them live. Like the bass is like turned way up in the mix, which helped a lot. Fucking killer record. Just, if you listen to that and don't have fun, you're dead.
Yeah. They do an awesome cover of "Turn Up the Night" by Dio Sabbath, which is my favorite Sabbath song in general. And they do a horrendous cover of Queen's "We Will Rock You," or is it really Champions? I forget. No band should cover Queen. "We Will Rock You." Sorry, it sucks, but don't let that deter you because the rest of it's awesome.
Yeah, it's tough to get away with Queen covers.
Yeah, we're talking about it with Adam the other day. Like those songs are so ingrained in our psyches. You only can hear them one way.
Right.
And
yeah. The only other band I know
such an outstanding voice, you can't even try to match it. So then you try to do something different, and it doesn't go.
Not that I'm pretty lukewarm on Between the Buried and Me as it is anyway, but they have a covers record, and the Queen one's on there. The Bicycle, I think. Yeah, Bicycle. And it just don't.
Let's see what else was on here. That new Death Rides a Horse was fucking phenomenal.
Yes, that's the best one. I think you've pointed my direction here in a minute. That one, I could totally see that being a contender at the end of the year.
It might be, yeah. I had their last one, which was just pretty much a compilation of EPs and demos. But that one was awesome too. They do a fucking awesome cover of Scorpions. Was it "Fly Me to the Rainbow," I think?
Yeah.
But yeah, this one is just again step up. They got a little less sludgy and stonery on this one, a little more classic Doom vibe going on, which I dig. Right. But they weren't ever overtly like in your face stoner sludgy kind of stuff. So that's cool.
Sabbath got me thinking of another one that came out, the Aluna. British doom band with beautiful female vocals.
Did I hear that one? I don't know.
It's called what is it called? Solemnal, I think. Really good. They're all their stuff. I mean, it's not rewriting the book or anything, but just good, solid, classic doom metal.
Fair enough.
Very, pagan and British.
Right. Shit, what else is there? There's just been a lot of interesting stuff recently. A lot of stuff has just been kind of like towing the line, but still been good.
Right.
Like, you probably liked the Size of Gemini more than I did, but I thought that was fairly decent. Not great, but good. The Sarcasm is a fucking headbanger though. And,
Right.
What else have we got on here? Oh, that new Anathema. Fuck, it's not even metal. That's probably why I forgot.
Right. Yeah, I don't even think I got all the way through it. I think I
Yeah,
put it on and got lost.
I like them, but it's not really
Right.
metal. Oh, the new Nocturnal Mortem that came out of fucking nowhere this week.
Right.
That's folky goodness.
It is fucking great.
It's not as evil as the last one, if you ask me. But
Yep.
they're doing a good being reformed pieces of shit, so I give them kudos for that.
Right. Fucking, I don't know. I just going through the list. This list made me think though, like there hasn't been the one record this year yet where it's like some new band that I've never fucking heard of that has just totally blown the lid off the joint. I feel like there's a couple of those every year, but it hasn't happened yet. All that was just great records by already great bands.
Yeah, there's been a couple that have been interesting. I've been listening to this. Here we go. Acheron Thodol a little bit this week. Newer atmospheric black metal is pretty good. But I think you're right. Yeah, I haven't. Nothing really. Unless you count Cold Fells. Was that?
Yeah.
I mean, they're made up of a lot of veterans.
All right. Okay, what was the other? Dinfari.
Oh, Dinfar's yeah, that's right. I've been neglecting that. I need to go back and check that out. I guess Glacial Tombs is new. That new fucking EP is pretty nasty.
Yeah, it's fucking stomper.
It's gonna be a Colorado best of, I think, this year.
Right. I think it was funny. I think that's like the entirety of their catalog. I got a Facebook post showed up the other day. It was like, oh, our set's only going to be like 12 and a half minutes, so show up on time.
Yeah, mostly recently it's just been older bands killing it still.
And on that note, I guess you want to get into this bastard?
Sure, yeah. Let's nostalgia it up, I guess.
So I don't know. Where do you want to start, or do you want me to just fucking go? What do you?
I guess I'll start. Mine might be shorter. I don't know. Anyways, me and Steve were talking on the Facebook the other day, and we were talking about it was a couple weeks ago. There was like a little drought here of like new stuff, and I was kind of like, man, I'm not really feeling much of anything new. I was so busy at work. I've been putting on a bunch of older albums I hadn't listened to in a while that I listened to when I started to get into metal, which was for me, I'm not a lifetimer like some people. It wasn't until my late 20s when I started to really get into metal. But when I really started to get into music in the first place, it was punk. I discovered punk in like, I don't know, fucking 6th grade or something. 6th or 7th grade. But I'd always been aware of metal, of course, right? Because I listened to some in the 90s, like Metallica and Judas Priest, and I really like Venom for some reason. I don't really like it much more anymore, but at the time I did. And like metal adjacent kind of bands from the 90s, like Rollins Band, like shit like that, Like I don't know what Rollins Band is. It's not metal, but it's not.
Yeah, I had really come up the other day. Slint. Do you know Slint?
No, I don't think so.
That early 90s alt heavies, like not just not metal adjacent, like you said.
Yeah, like I guess alternate metal. I don't know. Yeah, Rollins Band and Helmet and Tool, stuff like that.
Fucking Helmet is so good live.
I've never seen them live. I still have a soft spot for Helmet. I haven't thought about them in a while, but I know they've been touring again recently. So
yeah.
And stuff like that. I didn't listen to too much of it. Metallica, because they've always they have that punk side of them, a heavy punk influence. So I guess that was cool. Oh, Motorhead, fucking Motorhead. But
right, and Motorhead meets you halfway to punk anyway.
Yeah, because everyone likes Motorhead, so.
Yeah.
Like typical stuff. And then like new metal, yeah, I listen to a lot of that stupid shit. Not the early stuff, not like Korn, but it's like Slipknot and kind of some of that stuff. Or like bands that were floating around during that time, like Rob Zombie and shit, like terrible stuff.
I think I was going to Cold Chamber Attic is where my head went to.
See, yeah, I was really weird about it. I didn't like Cold Chamber, and then
they're fucking terrible.
Yeah, I saw Danzig like 10 years ago, I think it was, 8 years ago. And his other band was opening for Devil Driver, I think it is.
Yeah.
And I'm like, they had such a huge crowd there. I'm like, who the fuck are these guys? I've never even heard of them. My friend's like, that's the asshole from Cold Chamber. I'm like, really? Because he looks pretty different because he, kind of looks like a metal guy. As opposed to like some weird. But anyways, so it wasn't until I was in my 20s and I was working in Boulder at this graphic design job, and it was an agency, so I worked a lot of hours. And I was just bored with like the same old punk shit. And I asked on Facebook, I think, or maybe even MySpace at the time. No, I think it was Facebook. If anybody had any metal suggestions that weren't fucking Slayer or Metallica. And my buddy Christian responded with Blind Guardian. And one of our mutual friends, Ben, who I've grown more, we've become closer acquaintances over the internet since then. We made a movie together. He was in a movie we did. But I'd always known he's been a huge metal fan, a huge into the metal scene for years. He used to run a label with his buddy in Iowa called Pagan Flames, or a distro. They put out some of the early Panopticon stuff. Anyways, he's like, I got suggestions for you. He told me, shit, can't remember all of them now, but one of them was Sonata Arctica. I think he was trying to test the waters to see what I was liking. So it was kind of...
Which is a good place for water testing.
Yeah, so I'd never heard anything like fucking Blind Guardian or Sonata Arctica before, which is like crazy power metal stuff.
Right.
And then my friend Ben's like, you should get on this thing called Lastfm. It hooks up to your iTunes and it'll calculate what you've been listening to, the bands and stuff, and it'll give you suggestions. And you can also see bands on there that have similar bands. So I did that, and I just went hog wild and like who sounds like Sonata Arctica. I just started discovering like all the genres. It was like a kid in a candy store. It was crazy. They got so much music. I mean, I acquired so much music and spent a lot of money too.
Right.
I just tried everything, and I couldn't even believe how much there was, how much I had missed, how much I had neglected, or things like that. And like I said, because I was into punk and subculture kind of stuff, I wasn't unfamiliar with death metal and black metal and that stuff. I just never really paid attention to it,
Right.
My only death metal exposure was like, I saw like Goat Whore opening for fucking Guar. That Cannibal Corpse in Ace Ventura.
Right.
And black metal. I remember one of my friends in high school reading the Lords of Chaos book. I'm like, this shit's fucked up. I'm like, yeah. But I never thought about it. So yeah. So I spent like a summer just at this job that I worked all the time, listening to music, checking out new bands left and right, going crazy. But so I guess that would have been 10 years ago, 11 years ago. But so yeah, so some of these albums I have that are nostalgic to me. Some of them I try not to put the ones on here that I still listen to, that I still think are good, like like Darkthrone and stuff like that. But some of these albums are not going to be the ones that people would pick as like the album you listen to by that band. But so I guess where it started was with power metal, which I didn't know at the time, but it led me to like, I don't know what you call it, shit like Nightwish.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And
I just call it Euro cheese.
yeah, which because it was so new to me, I was kind of interested. I'm like, oh, never heard, a heavier sounding band with these operatic kind of vocals. So I was kind of in it, but quickly realized that like that shit's all the same. I mean, like all the same. So I didn't put them on here, but bands I think kind of branch off of that I still like would be Advantasia, which is what the guy from Ed Guy, I think, is on the band.
Oh, that's right. God, I haven't heard that in, I don't know. I maybe heard it once.
His first two albums, the Power Opera albums, are fucking awesome for power metal. But then he kind of went crazy theatrical after that, and he started getting like, I don't know, it's super, I guess, operatic. I still kind of have a guilty pleasure for those, but I remember jamming those a lot at that time. There was one with Alice Cooper singing a song in there, and I can't remember the name of the lead singer of Scorpions, but
Klaus?
super cheesy stuff.
Right.
And then Rhapsody or Rhapsody of Fire or whatever the fuck they're called now.
Right. Aren't both versions like still touring?
Yeah, but only would give a shit about one of them because the one that's got Luca Turilli is the only one worth a shit.
Right.
We saw last year, almost a year ago. So that's kind of my introduction was to metal, was power metal, which I think segued into like melodic death metal. I know that you're super into LUV. How do you say that?
The Viti? Yeah.
They were one of the first bands I heard. One of the first bands that had those gruff vocals and that super melodic music.
Right.
And I think that kind of eased me into it because they had like the fucking flutes and the violins and shit. And I was like, whoa, what the hell is this? So I was jamming those a lot a couple weeks ago when we were talking about doing this episode because I hadn't listened to them in a while.
Right.
So those first two that I don't know what order they are, but the ones that I jammed a lot then was Spirit and Slamia.
Yeah. Yeah, those are fucking.
Still enjoyed them. I didn't think I would, but I did.
Fuck yeah, my not to interrupt too long, but my experience with them was backwards from that. My first experience with them was 3 Inches of Blood was opening for them, and we went to go check out 3 Inches of Blood, and we saw like I was talking to some guy I'd never even heard of him, and he's like, oh yeah, and they've got a full folk band on stage, and fucking hurdy-gurdy and all this shit, and I was like, fuck that sounds retarded. So you see 3 Inches of Blood and leave, and just never thought about it. A couple years later, I don't know how it came back across my lap, but I guess I was ready then, and holy shit. I think they kind of like opened up that whole folk world for me as far as the heavy stuff, and I have not looked back. I love it.
Yeah, I didn't. The reason I didn't think I like it now, going back, is because they were the first of those folk metal bands that I started listening to. So of course, found the branch from them to like Corcoplani and Fintroll and Spherium and bands that look. All the bands just sound like those pagan fests, Right. I really don't listen to much of that stuff anymore. I mean, I do like folk metal, but not in that capacity. It's kind of like the Chuck E. Cheese version of folk metal, I guess.
Right. Well, I think that's what really sets Elviti apart is they have all that, but they really cling to the Gothenburg mellow death stuff. It's like,
Right.
it's like At the Gates with flutes instead of guitar solos. Like it's really what it is.
Right. So yeah, I am just trying to remember all this stuff so well. There's so much going on. I absorbed so much so quickly.
Right.
A bunch of stuff on here. I'm trying to remember the path that it migrated to.
Well, I think it's awesome that Blind Guardian was like one of the ones that tipped the scales for you. Like of all the bands, fucking
right.
Just I love them so much, and like that's just that was not. They weren't a tipping point for me, but like, fuck, man, they're so good. You're lucky.
It was so weird to me to hear that like Lord of the Rings kind of
Right.
high fantasy element there. There's nothing like that in punk rock at all. Like, not even fucking close. And if there is, they're making fun of somebody. Like,
right.
But so I have also put on here one of my all-time nostalgic albums is that Amorphous Skyforger. And I know that a lot of people think that Tales from Thousand Link is, they're undisputed classic. And that's a good album. I went back later, of course, and found that. But that was the first one I heard because from the websites I was going to, that was the one that came out around that time. So I'm like, oh, this sounds interesting. I think it's a fine album, and I've liked Amorphous ever since. They're not my favorite band. I know they're kind of cheesy now, but that one just fucking hit like a ton of bricks. And I don't listen to it very often, but when I do, I'm just like, again, nostalgic.
I just listened to that because you were talking about it. I had mentioned that I only ever really listened to the first 2 or 3 Amorphous records, and you said, "Oh, I'll do Skyforger," and I did. I'm glad I did.
Well, it's got that history element that you like so much too.
Right? Yeah, all of the history of Finnish folklore and shit. Kalevala, super cool.
So I'm trying to weed my way into black metal here, but I'm not getting there. So, I guess Amorphous probably led closer to death metal, and I know I wrote down bands like I remember some of the earlier death metal bands. I didn't get to like traditional death metal first. It was like through melodic death metal. So, but yeah, like I'm never gonna pronounce L-U-V-T's right, or Amorphous, or the Dark Tranquillity. Some of their earlier albums. I know they weren't out at the time, but I just found those first. I didn't know what I was looking at. I just grabbed so much stuff.
Right.
Especially the Gallery or Sky Dancer by Dark Tranquillity. Again, I don't listen to them hardly at all, and their new stuff is horrendous. But
yeah,
I think because that was Dark Tranquillity was there's no folk element there. There's nothing else but that melodicism. I didn't know about At the Gates, and Dark Tranquillity is kind of like their stepbrother, sound wise.
Dark Tranquillity and In Flames should have a fight to see who's the worst band right now.
Yeah.
They're both sucking it up so
hard. But so yeah, I didn't get, and then I feel like the thrash that I was listening to at the time came easier because I was already into Metallica, so it's kind of like an opener. But what did surprise me was that there was so much good thrash that no one really talked about, or that wasn't as popular as the big four.
Right.
Bands I never given a second thought to. But I remember at the time, the one that it's one of my favorite albums is the Overkill's Ironbound.
Fuck yeah.
Fucking knocked my socks off when I heard that. I was like, holy shit, this is a thrash band? This is fucking amazing.
Right.
That album was so good. I don't think they've been good ever since that album came out. But so I don't like thrash very much, but so as far as so melodic black metal, melodic death metal, I think, and then the death metal bands I wrote down here are kind of weird, but I wrote down Asphyx and Hail of Bullets, which are essentially the same band.
Right.
But those were some of the earlier, like more traditional death metal bands I started listening to. And then to come to find out now, people are saying that Asphyx is a death doom band, which I've never thought that, but whatever.
Right.
And then Suffocation. So I don't know how I got to Suffocation from those, but
that's kind of a big jump. Like that's the moment you chucked yourself into the deep end. You're like, fuck it.
Yeah. So Suffocation was by far the first of the technical death metal bands. I'm 100%. I didn't write that down, but I'm 100% sure it's Pierce from Within.
Oh yeah. Which I'm 100% sure is their best one.
Yeah. So let's do black metal, I guess. Like I said, I was just listening to so much stuff, and it's kind of hard to remember.
Right.
All this, but the two bands that stand out for black metal for me was, there was a couple summers before that I went to my buddy's Christian in Iowa, and he's been into weird music as long as I know him. and we spent a good summer listening to Gorgoroth, but I didn't really think much about it at the time. I was just like, fuck yeah, this is awesome. And like Blue Dust Nord, but it was so foreign to me at the time. I didn't like.
Right.
I don't know what the fuck this is. But the first couple I remember being really involved or interested in was I don't know if this is a shameful one or not. Was Knockmistium, especially given that asshole's like
Lake's behavior.
Behavior.
Yeah, and
I forget which album that was the first one, Assassins, I think, or the EP. I don't know. It was really interesting to me, and it kind of broadened my horizons musically.
Yeah,
they're long time.
Those records are just fucking perfect, and it sucks that you have to do the legwork to fucking deal with Blake and all the bullshit there. But yeah, those records, they are what they are, and they're fucking great.
Yeah, I mean, I don't listen to them. I have that weird connotation because of him. I know he's trying to like restart and apologize or something, but fuck him, right? Like,
right.
And from that, the other one I remember was Wolves in the Throne Room. That was the first. I remember that atmospheric. Right? I think at the time they were calling them Cascadian black metal.
Right.
And it was the shit. Let me find. I can't ever remember the name of that album.
And we definitely have that in common on our journeys. I was into like the older Norwegian stuff, but I think Wolves was really like the first truly expansive, like, you know, like Cascadian, atmospheric, whatever you want to call it. That they were the first for me too. That really got me down that particular rabbit hole.
It was Black Cascade was the one.
Yep.
Which is
Queen of Marled Light.
People don't speak that highly about that one as the others, but that was the first one I heard, and I love that album. I love all their albums still to this day. But
right. I think I don't know. I think with the exception of what Lay My Bones Beneath the Roots or whatever, the Black Cascade is probably still my favorite.
Yeah, it's still a probably go Diadem 12 stars, but it's hard to say. I mean, not counting that fucking weird ambient one.
Right.
Yeah, I think those are it. That's my path there. I put Darkthrone on here too, but it was Circle the Wagon. And I don't know how I got to that from. I mean, I know I stumbled on like Black Metal 101 websites or something like that.
Right.
Sure, when I was getting into it, this is when bands were putting those albums out. Like that's probably when Circle the Wagon came out or right around the time.
Right.
So I fucking love that album. And I know that
I do too.
I must have heard Blaze in the Northern Sky or Transylvania Hunger first, because I knew when I heard it that it was like, this doesn't sound anything like those albums. But I still like it. I still like it.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's like I don't give a shit what Darkthrone does. It's always gonna be good.
So yeah, mostly I just remember spending a lot of time in that dark agency listening to weird metal just over and over, everything I could find. I mean, even bands that I had heard of that never really clicked with me, like Iron Maiden. I got super in Iron Maiden, or just at least, I don't know if I'd say I'm super in Iron Maiden, but at least like listen to all their albums and like, oh yeah, so that's what Iron Maiden's about, or like,
right,
or Exodus or things like that. And then of course, it's weird. Well, for me at the time, all this weird black metal, and people must have thought I was going crazy because I'm like going on, and it just became an obsession since then. So I mean, there's a whole bunch of bands on here I wrote down, but I think the most of those albums that catch that time push me I've mentioned already.
Right.
I mean, I also wrote down Vader and Samuel. An All with Rock was one of the. That was an All with Rock was like fucking punch in the face when I heard it.
It's still
even now they're still like
right. Yeah, they're just so aggressive and noisy. Like it can be tough for the non-initiated.
Yeah, and I think the first one I heard, I remember exactly the first one I heard was in the Constellation of Black Widow. Yeah, it was just insanity. But yeah, so that was really just a time of discovery for me. I still kind of feel like that every now and then. I still feel like I'm discovering new stuff all the time. But it's just like, I don't know, like I had found I don't know.
I mean, that's why we're here. I mean, like, I have such a voracious appetite for all the new stuff and like all the time, just always looking for it. But yeah, I think my trajectory is quite a bit different. I started more, and then, well, I guess I could say the first heavy band that really ever fell in my lap was Nine Inch Nails. Heavy.
Yeah, I forgot to mention the industrial stuff.
Right.
We had friends in high school, so a lot of that floating around.
Which, you know, I'm not even like, I'm really not a big industrial guy at all. But I think I got Pretty Hate Machine from my cousin and liked it enough. And then I was maybe 11 or 12 at the time, something like that. And then got Broken, the EP, the second one he put out. And that record is really guitar heavy. It's Nine Inch Nails' most guitar heavy record, like by a mile. And that was really what spawned the love of the riff. Like, I think that I grabbed onto that early, like shit that I could just bang my head to is what I was interested in. And like you mentioned Slipknot, that was just, you know, that's what was around then. That's what was like in your face when you show up at high school and they're fucking weird ass dudes in masks.
Oh yeah, totally.
You know, fucking draws you into even though you don't listen to it now, like there's something, bands like that are good at pulling in like weirdos to their orbit. Like,
right.
You know, just fucking, oh, this is clearly it clicks with a 14-year-old because like, oh, my parents will fucking hate this and they're fucking, you know, just your rebel to anything. Like,
yeah, no joke.
I just ended up in that orbit, and I had a lot of friends that were like into Manson and stuff too, but that never, I moved on from that pretty quick. Like, it was,
yeah, I never really was. Yeah.
I think it was a pretty straight shot from like Slipknot then to truly appreciating how great Pantera was. Like, I fucking, Phil's a hard guy to love, but man, the amount of riffs and aggression on those records, I think that's probably maybe not Vulgar Display Power, but Far Beyond Driven by Pantera, I think was like really, really big milestone for me. Like, just how heavy and how aggressive and how pissed off that record is really, really set me into like the heavier shit. I think that was like the tipping point. Like, all right, I'm fucking ready.
Yeah.
Those still, like, you know, we talked about Queen can't be covered. I think everybody should cover Pantera songs. Like, those riffs are so great. Fucking Aborted does Slaughtered, and it's fucking amazing. Like, everyone should just pick a Pantera song and fucking do it. Because the songs are great, but, you know, Pantera.
I can't think of any Pantera covers off the top of my head now. Oh well. I'm sure there's a million, but
you know, punk, I'm kind of the opposite. Like, you were into the punk and the metal was adjacent, floating around, and I think it was reversed for me with punk. There was like Black Flag and Misfits, of course, always Misfits. I really loved the Famous Monsters stuff, the Graves era stuff.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
But I think Circle Jerks was a big one as far as like rock goes. Again, and that fit it shared an attitude with a lot of metal. Like, it just, you know, didn't give a shit and was pissed off.
Right.
But yeah, then so I guess Pantera into probably Cannibal Corpse was a big one.
Yeah.
And again, they're a big one for a lot of people, I think, because of the artwork, probably more than anything else. Like, you see those fucking old covers, you're like, oh my god, that is literally the grossest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, I remember seeing, I know it was weird going back and getting into this stuff later because I remember seeing all these album covers from when
Right.
Go to the record stores to buy like punk shit because the punk stuff was always next to metal stuff was all mixed in together.
Right.
And of course, you know all the fucking Cannibal Corpse covers, but I remember getting seeing the Cradle of Filth covers or the Deicide covers or the Death album covers. I remember specifically, I'm like, what the fuck is it? I remember Symbolic specifically. And
Right.
I'm like, oh, I remember seeing that. And then the Obituary's Cause of Death, because that artwork has been repurposed for so many things. Like, it was on an old shitty H.P. Lovecraft collection I had. But
that's fucking awesome. I did not know that. Yeah, and
by far the best album art is the metal genre.
oh yeah, fucking.
Like, I understand the punk DIY thing, that's fine.
We're gonna have to, like Discovery does Shark Week. We're gonna have like Mile High Metal Hour fucking album art week.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry.
But yeah, so Cannibal Corpse is big just because they're the surface crust of death metal. They're always floating right up top and are easy to find.
Like, yeah.
Like, I think once you've reached the point of Cannibal Corpse, you're like, okay, anything heavier than this is perfect. Like, just give me as much of that as you possibly can. And probably, so that's still high school. Soulfly was a big one in high school, which I can't do it anymore. Like, I tried because we were doing this podcast. I was like, oh shit, let me put on the fucking first Soulfly. I couldn't fucking do it.
I saw them open for Rammstein when I was in high school. I think I was 17, maybe. But I even knew at the time that that was the dude from Sepultura. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Right. Yeah. Although that being said, Soulfly led me directly to my favorite band, Willhaven. Their vocalist does guest vocals on like the second Soulfly record. And as soon as I heard that dude's vocals, I got back before internet, just like pulling open the liner notes, like, oh, who the fuck is that singing? That is too rad, and went and got it the next day, and actually saw them open for Soulfly, and that is they've been my favorite band since. Fucking just love them. But so I think it was right around the end of high school, I started to get like the grindcore thing really bad. Napalm Death always kind of floated around, like with Cannibal Corpse, with that, but I never paid too much attention to it. And then a buddy of mine gave me Kill Whitey by Flesh Parade, and that is just like one of the best fucking records on the earth.
See, I felt that Napalm Death was always circling around the punk stuff too. Like I think it's because their artwork, or maybe because their speed. But,
right.
I mean, they go hand in hand.
Like, it's funny.
Plus,
I mean,
they're political as well. So,
I mean, the first two Napalms, I think, like, it's when grindcore was so unrefined. Not that it's refined, but it was so unrefined that it was a lot punkier. But I mean, by the time Barney joined on vocals, and they were, they went and recorded. God damn it, what's the studio in Florida where everybody was recording?
Oh,
yeah.
Morrison.
Yeah. So the first full length with Barney on it, they went and did that, and it sounds like every fucking record out of there, and it was like pretty firmly death metal, and it wasn't really for another 4 or 5 records that they started to really get super grindcore again.
Right.
But yeah, the Flesh Parade is I think probably the biggest milestone, because that was, if it weren't for that record, I would have never really delved into the grind too much. So I discovered a lot of grindcore backwards, like Nasum. I discovered backwards, like they were more or less done.
Right. Yeah.
Getting toward the end when that happened, but then
I only started listening to Nasum like 2 years ago.
Just some of my favorite, Napalm, of course. Some of my favorite bands now, I probably would have never listened to if it hadn't been Flesh Parade first. So
fair enough.
They're a big one, and trying to think what there was another. Let me see. I wrote it down. Oh yeah, fucking Cephalic Carnage from here.
Oh yeah, old Denver band.
Right. That was part of it for them. Wasn't as much the records as it was just seeing them. They opened for every like quasi extreme band, like, and we're always way heavier. So, but they played they used to play like 3 times a fucking month, it felt like. So just after seeing them as many times as I did, I think they're largely responsible for a lot of that too. I think I did it. So I did I've got a list of like 5 or 6 nostalgia records I went back and listened to. And I think of all of them, the one that held up is I listened to the first Fear Factory.
Yeah, okay.
Soul of a New Machine. That is a fucking death metal bastard. That record is awesome.
See, maybe I need to go back and listen to it. I've never listened to it, but everyone says that's the good one.
Yeah, it's fucking great. I had forgotten how great it was because it's Fear Factory and
Right. 'Cause if I was to pick a nostalgic Fear Factory album, it would have been something like Obsolete or something like that. Like,
yeah, they get played around our house semi frequently. The wife is still pretty into them, but yeah, that was one I put on my list to really go back and try on, and that one's still awesome. I did that the Soulfly, which was not quite so awesome.
I can hear it in my head right now, but it's like, ooh, like,
Fucking tribal, fucking.
but you know, I don't like fucking Roots either. So like,
Right. And no one should. That band
they were pushing KSID, which I still like KSID, but they're getting there.
and that what Max and Igor just rolled through town doing that.
Yeah, they're doing KSID or Roots. No, Roots.
Roots. And everyone's like, aren't you going to see them do Roots? I'm like, I give a fuck less about seeing them do Roots.
Yeah.
It's fucking KSAD may have been a different story. I probably would have gone to that, but fuck.
Yeah.
What else did I go? All right. So I think this is probably the most embarrassing one on here, and it was by far and away the hardest one to listen to all the way through. But I don't even know if you know these guys, but Spine Shank.
I mean, I know that they were around
Right.
stuff.
Oh man, it's fucking. I used to think that shit was tough. Like just, ooh, it's bad. It's really, really, really bad.
I contemplated listening to some of that stuff. I mean, when I got an iPod, I transferred. I had so many CDs. I transferred all that stuff to my computers, and then I still have it. It's not in my iTunes library right now, but I still have it. I thought about putting some of that. Like I was really into those first two Mudvayne albums. I thought about putting that on, but I was just like, I don't know, dude. I don't know if I could do it.
Yeah, I don't know about the first two. The first Mudvayne, I can hang with that. I think every time I hear what was the big dig or whatever, like that riff's still cool.
Yeah.
But
I know I kept seeing like I have all these weird music coincidences. I don't believe in fate or anything like that, but like Corey Taylor has just been like bouncing around in my world recently for some reason, and I don't know why. Like he's on like advertisements on YouTube for like some radio show he's doing or some shit, and then that shitty band of his put out a new video, the Stone Sour, you know.
yes.
And that came by my YouTube recommended feed, and then there's just a bunch of stuff with him recently, and I thought about putting on those Slipknot albums because we were all really into them at the time. I've seen them multiple times. I've seen them when I liked them. I've seen them when I didn't like them.
Right.
But I couldn't do it. I put on YouTube just to like, see if I could. Because the one I liked was Iowa. Was like the one I really liked.
Right. Which, to give them credit, they're like probably the only band, like definitely of that era, that put out a second record that was actually heavier than the first. I think that most of those bands, like you just said, Mudvayne, like almost all of those have like that first record that's kind of okay, and then it just garbage after that. And to Slipknot's credit, they had one. I mean, they fluked upward for half a second, and then the third one sucks. But
yeah, but I try to keep it to the nostalgic, extreme metal stuff. I mean, I've got a closet full of embarrassing new metal, and I had a Kid Rock album, like that shit.
Right.
And I can't think of anything from that time period that I still like or still follow.
Yeah.
Musician.
I guess for me, just Willhaven. And
I mean, except for the punk bands, and even then, it's mostly just few of them are even still a band anymore. They're back on nostalgia tour.
Right.
Like Bad Religion is the only one I listened to that was putting out new stuff when I discovered them. Still putting out new stuff today that I still like.
I guess Deftones would probably fall in that category for me.
Yeah, see, that's what I was thinking too. Was Deftones? I think was the ones that lasted the longest because I didn't really like. I forget the first two albums.
Adrenaline and then Around the Fur.
Whichever one had Shut Up and Drive.
Yeah, that's Around the Fur.
Was the one that I started to pay attention to.
Right.
And then when White Pony came out, I really liked that album a lot.
Yeah.
I always kind of thought they got the short end of the stick because they got lumped in with all that new metal stuff, and I never thought they really deserved it because I thought they were really way better.
Right. Well, and they've, unlike all of their peers from that time, though, they have matured well. I know the newest one is not my favorite, but the two before that have both been masterclass. And I mean, just that, you know, of all the bands that they were lumped into, with maybe not more commercially successful than Slipknot, but maybe like all the rest, like, you know, Korn still tours and shit, but they're not like critical darlings. You know,
Right.
no one's talking about the new Korn record because no one gives a shit. But like
Right.
Deftones are still relevant.
Yeah, I same thing with you. I didn't even listen to the last album because the one before that I was kind of getting to my end with them.
Right.
But everything up until after, I don't remember the names of them now. After White Pony, then there was I think self-titled one.
Yep. And then Saturday Night Wrists, I
Yeah,
think is the right.
those couple in there, those four, I think 4 or 5 were really good.
Yeah.
And they were still like the last guilty pleasure leftover band from the mid '90s that I would admit to listening to.
Right. Yeah. Well, all right. So you were talking about Corey Taylor's Been Everywhere. That Soulfly record I just mentioned that had the guy from Will Haven on it. I think Corey Taylor's on that record too.
Yeah. See, I guess fucking everywhere.
Right. And I think was it last episode? Yeah, last episode we talked about Snot. Corey Taylor.
Right. It was I think early 2000s there was a tribute album for Black Flag that Henry Rollins organized to raise money for the West Memphis 3. And some of those new metal guys, or those weird bands from that time, floated onto there. Like I know we talked about Casey Chaos, he was on there, and Corey Taylor, and and speaking of, now that their background, one of the idiots from At the Drive-In and Mars Volta.
Oh yeah.
I feel like that album was like a perfect time capsule of like the end of the '90s, the beginning of the 2000s. With a bunch of terrible bands I don't like, but really good covers. Like I just saw it recently from my punk days. One of my favorite bands was Rancid, and they have a new album coming out. And I just like, I can't listen. I didn't do it.
Yeah, when I was up in the Springs for Royal Thunder the other day, what poster did I see? Fucking Non-Point.
Wow.
Just like the most rubbish new. I was shocked that like they're still like touring. I was like, holy shit, that's like a thing still.
Yeah, I just saw that Seven Dust was on tour for like the 20th anniversary of some shit. I'm like, holy crap, do they have a 20th anniversary or something? And people still give a shit? Like, I didn't like them that much when they were popular.
Right.
But they seem to have like some weird like following for some reason. Like everyone seems to be like, all that new metal shit was garbage. Well, except for Soulfly or Seven Dust.
Well, yeah, like what is it? Metal Sucks. Those dudes jock them like super hard.
Oh God, I know. I'm just like, this is terrible. But I guess briefly, you're probably more into it than I am. The core stuff just passed me right the fuck by. Like deathcore and metalcore and
oh yeah,
core. Like I was just totally oblivious to that whole thing. And then when I went back and rediscovered all this metal stuff, I quickly discovered that anything called core that wasn't grind was just not going to do it for me. Like,
right. Yeah, there's still two bands really that I just from that era that I adore still. I mean, neither of them really do anything. Well, I guess that's not true. Unearth is one of them. Unearth still puts stuff out in tours. Fucking love them. They're just fucking breakdown, fucking mellow death riff, breakdown, mellow death riff. Whatever it is they do, they've written the same record 7 times, and all 7 of them are fucking great. And the definition of consistency. And the other one was a band called Himsa, who was you should give them a shot if you get a chance. It's very, very Swedish inspired, kind of fucking mellow death sort of stuff.
What, like sort of work?
Yeah, would have a new wave of British heavy metal tinge to it. Pretty heavy.
Okay. What would you So we talked about like getting into metal. What would you like? I know we're the same opinion. There's always stuff to discover. I feel like I've got a pretty good grasp on the genres and even the subgenres. I know there's some more or less that I don't listen to much of or neglect completely. But what do you think was one of the last metal genres or styles that you got into, even as a seasoned expert now?
I think honestly probably the atmospheric black metal stuff. Well, no, I like power metal. I liked Blind Guardian and some of that stuff like way back, but never really had much of an appetite for it. Like Blind Guardian was like the cream of the crop as far as I was concerned. And maybe it's just because as I get older and have listened to all the crushing stuff, kind of got this need for some melody. Just like really in the last 2 or 3 years is when I've blown up on like the super cheesy stuff, the sing-songy Euro trash. And so that was a little backwards. Like I've gone from heavier to softer. I mean, I still listen to all the heavy shit, obviously, but
Right.
like I never had any of that stuff in my diet at all. And like real recently, that's been you know, it sucks this year how dry it's been. Like I fucking need it.
Totally.
What about you?
I think mine would be Doom and funeral, more particularly Funeral Doom.
Nice.
I don't know why Doom was the one that I had a hard time getting into. I'm not even sure why.
I think, you know, my crack plot explanation would be I think it's one of those things where it if you don't know the ins and outs of metal, like really, and aren't comfortable with it, like it just there's something that's hard to do about a 15-minute long song that just dirges and drones. Like, you know, it's not even a little bit accessible. Like you know, and I think I came to Doom fairly late in the game too, and it's just you just got to be ready for it. Like you know,
Yeah,
you
I think it's one of those genres that you're not into unless you're already a metal fan.
Right.
There's no fucking Metallica fan who's a Ahab fan, you know, like
right.
Like you already have to be totally entrenched in all of this stuff before.
Right.
You know, I think what it was trying to figure out what Doom was exactly, because I feel like when I was trying to get the grasp on it, there was like Doom, which would be like what Candlemass, Pentagram, stuff like that. Right. And then there was like Doom. It was like Electric Wizard or sloppy stoner kind of stuff like Sleep, or then there was like the Death Doom stuff, and then there was like the European Doom stuff, which was like Catatonia and Paradise Lost, and then there was like Funeral Doom, which when I first heard that was just like nope, not ready for that.
Yeah, but I've had to like it was a genre for me too that I dipped my toes in and had to like come back to several times to really get a grip on it. Like one of the first records I have is this band called Moss.
Yeah.
And fuck man, it's so slow. And like I think it comes with listening to enough metal and appreciating how much atmosphere can add to an experience.
Right.
Stop worrying about songs and just more like how it feels or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think Graves at Sea was probably the one that eased me into it more than anything else.
Right.
Probably because I always talk about fucking riffs, but it's just super riff-oriented doom metal.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I feel like it started that it was again transitional. Like I figured out Candlemass and some of that more like traditional doom, and it just got slower and slower and slower and slower. And then I never really got into it or couldn't figure it out. Besides, you know, the mainstays like Candlemass and like Electric Wizard and Sleep.
Right.
Or I kind of like he kind of was into I Hate God a little bit, but that's I think because the earlier stuff, still their newer stuff too, it's rather punky. But,
right.
I mean, that Decibel put out that magazine that was the 100 best Doom albums or whatever. And I'm like, I'm gonna listen to all these fucking things, the ones I don't have, and listen to, and I'm just gonna figure out what the fuck it is about Doom. And then after that, yeah, I fell in love with it. And some of my favorite bands now are doomier bands, or ones I'm really excited about, are like fucking doom. I mean, I don't. It's not like I'm jamming funeral doom all day long, but
Right.
Stuff is so good.
Fucking just to think, fucking, I guess what Roadburn was like a week ago, and Ahab did Call of the Wretched Sea in its entirety, and I hate Europe so much. Fuckers.
See, I don't know how that would. I can't imagine a European festival where they played all that fucking album. Like,
right?
people were either like really drunk or really high or like just super into it.
Right.
But yeah, one of the albums I'm looking forward to the most this year, which I think could be one of the best albums of the year, is the new Lost album. Like 2 years ago, I wouldn't have been even anticipating a Funeral Doom album to be the best album of the year, but
right. But yeah, I guess power metal will be the last one for me. I feel like I discover more power metal than I do other genres because I've got less exposure there.
Right. I mean, there's still discoveries that are here and there. They're weird. Like we found that my buddy Ben sent me that how do you fucking even pronounce this thing? I forget. Hold on, let me find it. The Heel Telwyn.
Oh, dude, god damn it! That like if that had come out this year, that would be up there at the top of my list.
Joke. But like, I've been listening to a lot of the non-Aussie Dio Sabbath stuff recently because I never did. And now I'm like, oh, this is pretty fucking good. Like,
right.
So it's always weird, like finding this stuff. But
well, shit, man, we're about closing in on an hour.
Yep.
Yeah, fucking. Want to fucking put this guy to rest? We got anything else?
No.
Yeah, fucking. What's the name of that band again? Heel Telwyn or fucking.
Heel Telwyn. Yeah, I think that's how you pronounce it.
Anybody who's listening to this, you should go out and listen to that record right fucking now. It's awesome. I think I even posted it on the page, but that's of everything that you've put in my lap. Jesus Christ, man.
I don't know, I've listened to it constantly since we found it. I mean, I haven't listened to it yet this week, but I'm sure I'll get to it.
Right. Fucking folk metal explosion.
Yeah, no joke.
Well, sweet. Thanks, anybody who's watching or has watched. We will see you next time.
Yep.